We are starting right into today's episode because it's gonna be a packed one. And with that, welcome back to Four Lake Forest, our ongoing theme park in Planet Coaster 2. I'm Rudi. In case you don't know what I'm doing, I'm building all kinds of theme parks and big building stuff and any kind of building games you may have figured by now. But also, we are obviously still doing some lovable work in this beautiful game that is called Planet Coaster 2. And I want to say right away, big thanks to all of your comments on my recent video where I did talk about the water park kind of disaster. It's not really a disaster, but it's actually, baseline. Water parks have been neglected for this game. They've been there, they've been fixed, and they are gone. So if you're interested, that video is going to be linked somewhere to the top right now in case you're interested. But let's focus on today's build because I am really proud. This is a completely new area of the park, and you've seen me maybe in the last episode. By the way, this is why we didn't have a little look back at the latest episodes, because, well, there was just like me building two different coasters, actually just a coaster and a log flume. So it's not really worth it to show too much of the last episode. In case you're interested, make sure to watch the whole playlist, because then you get a better idea of the whole park and what's the thought behind this, because there's like a lot of effort also put into the storyline. So just if you're new, if you caught this video for whatever reason, a little bit of a heads up here. We are in a German theme park. The idea is a high-budget themed park. We are in the Black Forest region, and we want to draw a lot of inspiration from the Black Forest architectural style, yet make it a bit more tied in with magical kind of ideas of typical theme park builds. So we are going after a lot of different attempts, like in the Hamburg Harbor area and island builds and whatnot. I am finally back to a very classy approach, and I feel myself very comfortable in that, to be honest, at the moment, because the game is, I don't want to call new, but it's still relatively fresh. I think we can still assume the game is going to be supported for quite some years, especially when it comes to the recent announced plans from Frontier, including Planet Zoo 2 soon. By the way, if you're interested, the second part of today's voiceover is going to be a little bit of a chatter around my thoughts, what this is gonna do to Planet Coaster 2, and I feel like it's gonna do only good things. But we first of all need to talk about my favorite part of today's video. Our roof is going to be made out of planters, and this is going to be the reason for that is because I didn't find another good suiting piece to mimic these typical kind of reed roofs that you'll find in certain builds also, in not only in this region, but very typical kind of old buildings in like forest regions in Germany and just in like Central Europe, I guess. And I wanted to have it in here, but I do hope that we get better pieces in the future. They have a terrible draw distance, they have a terrible LOD. You will see that in the real-time part. I may have to change them out, but for the moment, I was kind of happy with them. I also should say we are building a kids coaster. If you haven't seen last episode, it's going to be like a typical kind of Vekoma kids coaster over here. The layout is not 100% perfect yet, but I'm mostly happy with it. There are little quirks here and there, just a bit of smoothing needed, but for the most part, I'm happy with it. It's like I'm not like thriving for perfection with this ride. It's just be a little kid's family ride. In general, this area is meant to be a bit of a family area. It's basically the central area of the park. We had our main focus and emphasis on the big weenie, the big university build in the center with the dark ride in it. But now we are getting really to the heart of the park where the most traffic is potentially going to be in the future. So, which is also why in a minute or two, we will also do a bit of a plaza build. Also, I must talk about a topic before going a bit more deeper into the architectural style and idea behind this build. I mean, you can definitely tell this. The inspiration is just one typical kind of mill. I think it was like a mill building this is based off of, but I did take my own inspiration and like, I don't know, artistic value for that. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I went a little bit my own way here, which I think turned out to be looking really good. But I have to admit that the basic idea about this area overall is to just give the whole park a bit of a nicer framing now as like a huge park is also, it also needs that kind of core element of a central area where people can spend time, where they don't have that many big ways to get from A to B, and just in general, the idea behind this is really to create that area in the park that you really want to maybe meet up again if you lost each other, or sort of like this is where we have to focus on over here. And it took me a while to figure out exactly how and where to place this, but I think at the end of the day it really worked out super well. I would love to go on, and I think this is the best sign ever if you can be happy about your projects or not. I think the best sign ever is if you just cannot stop. This personally is my most favorite thing in the world. But also, I want to talk about another topic, and this is the delivery of the videos. Recently, and I'm totally fine with the quality of the videos, don't get me wrong, but like I've been doing so many videos past 6, 7, 8 weeks. I mean, towards and since the launch of Jurassic World Evolution, I've been trying to treat you guys very well. But I must admit, I think there is a chance to maybe change up the way I present the videos to you. And I'll get to that after a little nod to the sponsor of the channel, because we have to talk about that every now and then. Because, Instant Gaming, you should know by now, but they are a great partner of the channel. Instant Gaming is a service, and in a second you will see the video about that to give you a visual kind of support to what I'm saying. In case you need any game, or you need a DLC, or you need Steam money, Xbox money, Xbox Live, whatever, you can grab it from Instant Gaming. And when you use the link here in my description, or the one I hopefully put to the top right now, then you do help me directly, because when you buy via my link, I get a tiny percentage. It's like really not worth mentioning. The percentage is really not what we should talk about. But the moment you buy via my link, anything, you add to my account, and as a certain amount of purchases have to be made for my account to get that support of the partnership. That is the best way to support me, because essentially what I was trying to talk about earlier is a direct kind of result of that. The more I have these kind of independent income flows, I can also focus on bigger projects. I think I have not really talked about that too much while we work on the queue. I'll talk a bit more about the layout in a second, and about the idea of the station. But just shortly, because you guys deserve that kind of information. So when I started with YouTube, the first couple of years I really didn't earn much with it, and up until I think 2 years ago, somewhat, every single euro I earned with the channel, I reinvested in the channel, like buying a new computer, buying new hardware, buying new blah blah blah. But for a while now, you all knew it, and you all know it, I should say, not new, but you all know it. Life got more expensive, jobs and stuff get a bit more critical, and also raises and stuff don't occur that often anymore, unfortunately. So it happened that my YouTube income has become, unfortunately, a little bit of a part of our income. It's not like that it's super important, but it does pay some bills, especially now when my wife isn't working for at least half a year anymore, since half a year, because the second baby that just joined us, she obviously took out parental leave. I also have a couple months parental leave, and that's where you usually don't get your full salary. And that is also why, unfortunately, with YouTube, it became a tiny bit of a thing that pays the bill rather than just a hobby. And this is why certain things like sponsorships or like memberships on the channel also do help that thing. Becomes incredibly helpful and important for me, because if being a bit more freed from the very nasty algorithm and very nasty income just via the ads, I can do these kind of crazy bigger projects that I just love. I think this is the core of what I should be doing, because I think that's where I really excel in. Having these weird ideas, building half a Halo ring for Jurassic World Evolution 3, or just like, I don't know, in the past where we did like a zoo in the shape of a palm, or the clockwork cards back in the day I did with Planet Coaster 1. These things I love, but these things take up weeks from my time, because I'm doing all the stuff next to work and after work and whatnot. So that brings me to the point. I'm thinking about how can I make the videos more engaging. Well, we got to talk about the plaza in a second, but I want to really understand how I can make these videos more engaging. If you guys have ideas, please go down in the comments and tell me what you would love to see. Or if you maybe know someone else who has a great idea of a delivery, what you kind of love. I was thinking about things like doing a bit more of a sharp review of what the park is and what we've done in the last episode, just as I did, but a little bit more sharp. Maybe don't show you all the kind of speed build as I do. This video has already a lot more steps in between, so that it's not only the full time lapse, but also, you know, jumps between things. And in the future, I want to take these a bit more as an explanation. Or what we could also do is like approach this a bit more as like a building philosophy, you know, go via the steps that things would be built. But then the problem is I don't necessarily build the way a building is built. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. That will be very important for me personally. I want to improve my quality, not only by the quality of sound and visuals, but also by the quality of that it's going to be more engaging for you guys maybe. I don't know, or maybe you like the style. That's also totally fine. Anyways, let's quickly talk about the plaza and the build style over here. So as I said, this area is going to be very important. And by the way, sorry if you hear some little crackles of my voice. So I don't know. My throat is very dry today, even though I'm drinking the whole time. Never mind. So back to the plaza. The whole idea of this park should be whimsical, magical, you know, giving this kind of real theme park approach. And I do think that the beginning was good, but I want to get that step forward. We don't yet use enough of inclines and different height elements. This is also, by the way, why the station is a little raised off the kids coaster, and we have that kind of incline and height level differences with the queue to just make everything look so much more interesting and nice to look at. But at the same time, I also wanted to have more open spaces and plazas, because eventually I will need to cover this all a lot more in trees. I know it's not the easiest way to do, but thanks to global illumination in the game, I have the feeling it can work. And therefore, Frontier, if you're listening, I have one very specific wish. If you look at your in-game trees, there are some very good ones. For example, the common European ash tree is mega. It's chef kiss. Really, it's so good. But the oak tree, which is such an important tree in the game, looks so off. I cannot really explain what it is. The green tone isn't correct. It just looks, quality-wise, miles off of the other ones. And I'm not really sure why. I have always said that most of the foliage is really good in this game, even on par with the Planet Zoo ones. But then some others are super off. And I really hope they would fix that. Oh, by the way, we do also make like a little bit of a moving magical tree over here. I love the fact that I gave us this tree without the canopy. Not sure if that was the same in Planet Coaster 1, but if not, well, thank you for that. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. We also do put in the plaza over here with like a little bit of merry-go-round. We are going to style this merry-go-round as well. One of the first flat rides ever I've really styled nicely. So that definitely is something I do like. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this entire plaza comes out. And also, it's very important that it looks the way it looks. Because as I said, that's going to be the center space of our area over here. And yeah, well, talking about this, it's also important that it looks the way it is, because I am willing to leave a couple spaces open. I have the feeling we are going to see some good stuff in the future. I mean, I do know of a couple of things, but as I obviously can't talk about them, I can't really make any area of these, so you can take guesses. I do want to avoid that. So I'm just keeping it very generic and say, as we all know that games evolve over time, there will be things I want to be able to include in a certain future. I guess that is the idea. So if we were to get hotels, for example, by the way, as I'm speculating, I have no idea of hotels, so just to be sure. I'm still not sure where I would integrate them over here, but the same goes for different kind of food stalls. I've really heard you guys, and I am really on the same boat. I really wish that they would give us a lot of the food brands we had in Planko 1 back into this game, or even create some new ones. And I want to have Professor Wurst back. He would be the perfect fit for the German park. We need this, you know. Give me Professor Wurst, I need him back, okay? And all the other wonderful World's Fair thingies, I think there were. Anyways, yeah, so this is a perfect segue into the little topic, the last topic I want to talk about. Also, we get some really cool looks of this area in the real-time part, so don't worry, I don't forget you. Also, you can let me know if you like cinematics at the end, because I technically never do this anymore, but I think it would be a nice idea to have cinematics at the end of these areas. Never mind. So maybe I do include them even now before I cut this. Whatever. But I want to quickly talk about the situation with the announcement of Planet Zoo. I have read so many comments, like so many comments that said, oh yeah, Planko 2 is dead. And I could not disagree more. I even think that the announcement of Planet Zoo 2 is a treat for Planet Coaster 2. And let me explain. If they are going to release a game 2 years after this game and 1 year after Jurassic World Evolution 3, which has a lot more, let's say, common things with the Planet games than it used to be before, then I think they have a good plan with this. You wouldn't do this and then abandon your own games beforehand. As they are all sharing, or seemingly all sharing, the same engine version. I even talked to Frontier and they said they are all on the same base version of the engine with some smaller variants of it. At least that's for Jurassic World Evolution 3 and Planko 2 when I've been to the offices. So it's definitely the same version of the engine, but they have some tweaks in it for the different games. Now, that said, I really do think that with the next game, Planet Zoo 2, they will have at least the same engine, or they bring them all to the same engine version, which they have done in the past as well, and they will be able to use the synergies of that as much as possible. And I honestly hope they do. I really don't know why they haven't done this in the past way more. They could have, but they never done. But I do hope that they will do now. Imagine they are having the spooky pack. It's not the spooky pack, right? But it's the magical pack they have in here. So I'm not sure if there is such a big difference, like a big, or let's say, interface between Jurassic and this kind of magic pack. However, the sorcery pack, that is, by the way. But the sorcery pack could become a very nice introduction for, let's say, a like a dark house, night house kind of vibe for Planet Zoo. So you could take a lot of these pieces and bring them into a themed pack for the Zoo game. Or if you take, for example, the European pack we got in the Zoo, Planet Zoo 1, this would have been such an amazing Main Street pack as well for Planet Coaster. So there's a lot of opportunities to leverage both games at the same time. And I think there's virtually no player out there who would say, okay, if we get more great stuff, I would get that in both games, so why not? And give them the chance to create more download content for us and maybe even more pieces per pack. And then, of course, okay, 50% of the pieces may then be reused pieces from the other game. No one would care if they're great. I mean, if you would tell me you're gonna pay $50 now and you get all the theming pieces of Planet Zoo, hell, I would even say double the price. I'll give you 100, no matter why, because there's so great pieces in there. But yeah, so let me know what you think. I look forward to that, very positive. But I don't want to talk too much about this because I'm going to make a dedicated video about this, because I really do believe, I should say, that this is the best we could ever have dreamed of for the games. And then in 2030, of course, we're going to get Planet Everything, and everything is going to be in one game, and we're all going to be sitting here for weeks and just playing the games. Anyways, you can see I'm adding a couple of things here and there into the area of the park. Very nice little kind of things. Nothing in particular, but like giving this the more plaza feeling I was talking about earlier. So yeah, I was really happy with the outcome. And this is, as I said earlier, this is the moment where I needed to stop because it was becoming really late that day. But oh my god, I just wanted to go on. I just wanted to keep playing. This is also, by the way, because of this, the next Jurassic World episode will be a little while, simply because I couldn't stop playing Planko. Well, that's just the way it is, okay? Anyways, you now deserve to see that in-game, so I'm gonna hand you over into the camel hands of the real-time Rudi, so enjoy that one and have a good time with the real-time Rudi. Alright, so here we are in the real-time part, and you can see the area. Well, I don't want to say finished, but like it gives you a good idea of where this is going. So as I said in the time lapse, I kind of needed to find an end because I could have gone on for actually forever, because in my head this entire area over here is already completely done in a way that I want to make this as much theme parky as somewhat possible. We will be having a lot of fun in the upcoming, I gotta say, 2 episodes, I think. Next episode is gonna be a lot more work on the details and stuff over here. I think it's gonna be for the first time in a long while, an episode without a new ride, gonna be completely honest with you. We gotta have to fix a couple things, and I do want to make sure that we have a couple more reasons for the people to get here. So we will have a bit more work on the sea, like the lakefront over here. We will have a restaurant gonna be sitting right over here. I'm not entirely sure how exactly I'm gonna tie that in with the build of the coaster. Maybe I'm gonna open the coaster up again so we can see this a bit more. So I got some ideas to make this maybe look a lot better with the restaurant sitting here at the lakefront. We will also be having a connection to this area, and we're gonna finish up this area, maybe even with maybe a flat ride. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we're gonna have a little flat ride over here to have more reason for them to go to the park. In general, I gotta give the people more reason to get into the parks. We also need some backstage stuff, so maybe I will put some staff centers in, which I do have an idea to, tie that in there somehow. But yeah, so this is the area. Let's actually go into this camera instead and have a look around. So this is the completely new area that I open up in today's episode. So last episode, I only did the layout of the flume over here and the wonderful kids coaster. Now the coaster is done, and it's basically a build, as I said, which is leaning a lot more into the nature kind of idea, but it's not fully done yet. As you can see, I kind of didn't touch this side too much, and there are still a couple of little hiccups here in the layout I want to finish and fix also, but there is a reason for that. I want to do something with this corner around here specifically, so I'm willing to push that forward into the one of the next episodes. I think it's not going to be the next, it's going to be the one after, and we have to really look at the plazas over here, as this looks a bit dull and too repetitive. So we are going to have a look into making this a bit more exciting for the people over here. As I've saved the game, I don't even need to care about too many people roaming around the whole time. But yeah, we are getting there, and you can see now from the park itself, it gives you this really cool line here in the center, where you can actually have a look here. So if you're standing somewhat over here, it gives you that perspective, of the depth of the park. So when you go, for example, to this viewing spot, somewhat through that bridge, you can see a couple of things that will give you an idea of the park. So the further you progress into the park, there's always that will to continue. So basically you're on this bridge and you get the next thing to see, and you cross over the bridge, and it opens up to you that there is the entrance of the coaster, giving you that very cool look over here. In general, this space over here is a very nice look to the other side, and there's a lot I love about this. There's a lot I am very happy with right now, and I will continue on making this grow. We have our cascade. As I said earlier, we will have a connection from this lake to this one, which we do have right now. And you can see that the theme park itself starts to become a lot more tied together. I think this project is really evolving nicely. It's taking a little longer than I expected, and also maybe a little longer than I wish to. But the reason for that is simply that I got so many other projects as well that makes just too much fun it is just too much fun to do all these kind of other things as well. But also I want to do it right. I want to not rush this project. I don't want to make too much ground just for the sake of making ground. The dark ride in here also needs some more love in the future to tie certain things together. Same goes with that plaza, and this entire left hand side over here is also still not fully finished. So there's a lot of work still to be done. So yeah, I guess also in me there's also that kind of will to always offer you guys a brand new area, new rides and stuff like that. But I think also in terms of a good theme park idea, we do need to have more builds, like, just filling in gaps, giving you guys also an idea of how to fill in gaps, how to tie areas together if required, because I feel like a lot of people mention that whenever I do tutorials, that this is a part where they struggle the most, and I can understand that. Sometimes I'm also like myself, really struggling to see how areas get together, but especially this area over here. here is very much unfinished, and I really want to touch upon that one to make it a lot better and a lot more enjoyable for the people to enjoy this area overall a bit more. At the moment, there's really no need for the people to rest in an area like this, and this is again another idea you want to have in a theme park. You need to give people also a reason sometimes to rest in certain areas, and just make sure, like for example, if someone is going to go on that coaster over here, sometimes as a parent or as friends or so, you may not want to stay here in the front and just have that view. Maybe you say, like, let's meet up here in the back area because we want to see you riding the coaster quite a bit more often. So especially this area over here opens up as a good possibility to give us a bit of a nice thing in the future, because you can see the coaster passing by very closely. We can do some fencing in the front here to make sure that people don't walk here, but we can also give them a nice little view of this area in general. So not sure how exactly I'm going to bring this over here, but we also will have the queue here, so there is a reason for them to go into this specific part of the park, which I'm very much looking forward to doing in the future as well. But yeah, this is that. Also, you know, the flume will remain untouched for a while. I just wanted to have the idea where this is going in the future, and I'm approaching this project a lot different this time around, as you may notice over here, simply because I have the feeling that this is the right approach. I have also an idea what can go in here, but this is somewhat of a secret for the future because I'm working on that one in a different save file and seeing to be able to bring that over eventually. But that's a different story. Yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoy our Black Forest Park, our 4-Lake Forest so far. I certainly do enjoy this quite a lot, I have to say. I do enjoy making this very theme park over here, and hopefully a lot of the future updates will give us a chance to tie even more things in. I want to make like bigger parking lot areas. I want to make sure that maybe in the future hotels can become a thing. So there are a lot of ideas that roam around my head and, you know, do want to be in place at some point. But yeah, you can see, oh my god, are these... Dang, okay, we've got some bad LODs going on here with the roof again. Yeah, I mean, I use these kind of double, you've seen that, I use the planters to make this kind of reed look for the roof, which is not, like, it's not the best. I would need to have it darker. Actually, zooming out gives you the dark effect that I wanted to have, and I surely could have used other pieces, but I thought that piece gives such a nice texture, so that's why. Also making that, you know, merry-go-round over here, having a bit of a nice theming. It's... yeah, you know, the tendency is a little too Viking for my liking because of these things. I gotta change this up at some point to make it a bit more, you know, a bit more Black Forest-esque, I guess, which is, yeah, it's a very hard thing to do in that sense that very little reference points of specific architecture other than having some flowers and stuff more in and making this a bit more lovable. Is that lovely is maybe the word I'm looking for like Black Forest, and giving some more, you know, classic timber in between. I think this is something I'm going to do in the next episode to fix that area. But just, you know, for the moment, just giving me an idea how to make it look for that moment. And again, also this area will receive a bit of an upgrade in the next episode. I've got some ideas how to make this all look even better than it already does. But I'm quite happy with the different height elevations in this build. It just really gives an idea of scale and size and stuff, and having that little lovely bridge passing over, which finally is working. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did enjoy, then please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, but also check out the link in the description from Instant Gaming, because that helps me directly, you know, to get myself loose a little from the algorithm and, you know, all these kind of things. The sponsorship helps me to maintain my weirdness in a way that I can do bigger project and not run after the algorithm all the while. So that would help me tremendously, but also it will help you, because if there's anything you need, you can grab it via this link. You save money, but you help me directly. I think that's fantastic without actually doing anything else weirdly. And if for whatever reason you want to support me even more, you can become a member of the channel. For the moment, this means you get some very nice emojis to be used, and I'll you know, I recognize you a bit differently in the comment section. I always want to make like a bit of a more nice tier list for that, but honestly, you know, the time. So I will be blankly honest with you. That would be just to support me. I appreciate, but it's not a must. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I wish you guys a wonderful time. I have no idea if I do make it to the weekend to bring this out, the video, or next week. You'll see that on my channel anyways. So whatever day it is, whatever time it is you're watching this, thank you as always, and have a good one. Bye.